MovieWeb.com.
So from what it sounded like, it seemed like you guys are under the gun a little bit more than usual on this film. Like, how'd your experience on this film compare to like other effects films that you were working on?
The experience on every film is the same. And the reason it feels like we were more under the gun is because this is the most recent one in memory. You know, I'm married and I have kids, and we had the first child, and I thought she would never want another child, and then suddenly all the pain is forgotten, and having the kid was the greatest thing, and she had another one. So it is with visual effects. Every film is the hardest thing you've ever done, and you never have enough time, and you never have enough money, and you're never good enough, and you never achieve what you set out to do, and you need to get that perspective, and then you look back and judge yourself.
So like, do you have like a most favorite or a favorite effect shot in this film at all? Like, my personal favorite was the Giant Stadium one. So I thought that was really quite an amazing feat.
I would say that my favorite shot in this movie would be the Giant Stadium shot, because it's a physical helicopter plate that we shot. All of New York are stills that we shot, and then the swarming theory, this is the way the swarm moved, is based on flocking theory, which is code that had to be written, and we got to identify what flocks we liked and what moved well about them, and how minnows flock when they're being attacked by seals. And then I found an article in National Geographic on flocking theory. So that's some custom stuff we got to write, and it worked out really well. And also, dramatically and story-wise, it's a single shot that really tells the story and has impact on it. And who doesn't want to destroy New Jersey?
So when I was talking to Colin, he was talking about some of the programs that they would write, like the automated kind of programs for like the tanks per se, like that you'd write one program in all the different tanks. It seems like it's even advancing even more. Like you don't have to animate these like every single one. Like is that just part of the process that just keeps evolving, or?
Well, that's good for certain cases. Like the truck being destroyed took 1,156 versions. So there was no automation that helped that shot. As a matter of fact, we had to break the automation apart and go back to the drawing board and figure out new ways to render, new ways to work things. Where the automation comes in or the rigging comes in is when something's going to do something predictable and you need to repeat it over and over again. Tanks is a great version of that. Machine guns is a great version of that. Certain kinds of crowd movement is a great version of that. Clouds are a great version of that. Airplanes are a great version of that. What's not a great version of that are battles, especially when you have specific things, that you got to deal with, but then they wrote the massive for that to handle those things, but then it's how close to the camera and this and that and other things. In this show, everything's a one-off. On Day the Earth Stood Still, it was like the old world. Every frame was handcrafted because we really had that mentality about making it all organic and making it live within the breadth of the story as opposed to poking out from the story. If you look at like the Giant Stadium shot out of context, you look at it and go, that's a cool visual effect shot. But when you look at it in context of the movie, it's like, oh my God, destruction. You don't think about it as a visual effect. So that's a success. It's hard to do.
So the movie obviously really geared towards Blu-ray more because of the effects and just the look of Blu-ray. So like, like when we watched it last night, it just really seemed, especially with the truck shot, and like were there any extra like effect shots that'll be added into this Blu-ray? Some of the ones that didn't make the cut, perhaps?
Oh, I think I haven't seen it yet myself, but I supplied and spoke to the people making the Blu-ray for the added value section of it. There should be a ton of stuff in there, including some pre-visualizations for sequences that never made it in the movie. And what's interesting to note is that when Scott Derrickson, the director, does pre-visualizations, he really does them. They're not the crude ones I'm used to. He did some very detailed stuff because he used them as sales tools as well as blueprints to follow. So there should be a lot of really great new stuff you've not seen before.